My pajamas.
Okay, this is a story about Rapunzel.
I don't wearing my pajamas. See?
Okay. Come here. Once upon a time in a faraway land, a husband and wife were expecting a baby. One day, the wife was looking out the window at the garden next door. She saw some lettuce, which was called Rapunzel. Suddenly, she wanted some. "My dear husband," she said, "I must have some Rapunzel lettuce from that garden." "That garden belongs to a witch," whispered the husband. "She is said to be the most fearsome witch in all the land. But if you want some Rapunzel, then I will get it for you." Late that night, the husband climbed over the wall into the witch's garden. Quickly, he picked some lettuce. As he was about to leave, the witch appeared. "Madame," the man stammered, "my wife is expecting a baby, and she craves this Rapunzel lettuce." "I will let you have some of my lettuce, which I have planted, and which I have tended with such care," the witch replied. "But I want something in return. When the child is born, you will give it to me." The man agreed, never dreaming that the witch was serious. A few months later, a beautiful baby girl was born. "What shall we name her?" the new mother asked as she and her husband admired their daughter. Suddenly the witch appeared. "Her name will be Rapunzel, and she is mine. Remember your promise," she said to her father. Then the witch snatched the child and disappeared. As the years passed, Rapunzel grew to a beautiful young woman. She had very long golden hair that she wore in a braid. The witch was afraid someone would take Rapunzel from her, so she locked the girl in a tower. The only way through the tower was through the window. When the witch wanted to visit the girl, she would stand at the bottom of the tower and call, "Rapunzel, Rapunzel, let down your hair." Rapunzel would hang her braid out the window, and the witch would climb up. While Rapunzel was singing at the window one day, a handsome prince happened to ride by. The prince thought Rapunzel was very beautiful. He wanted to talk with her, but he couldn't figure out how to get into the tower. Many days passed. The prince couldn't stop thinking about the lovely young woman. He went by the tower a lot to try to catch a glimpse of her. One night he saw the witch call to Rapunzel. He watched in amazement as the old woman climbed Rapunzel's braid. He knew at once what he would do. The next morning the prince returned to the tower. "Rapunzel, Rapunzel, let down your hair," he called. Rapunzel's long braid came tumbling toward the ground. The prince climbed up into the tower room. At first, Rapunzel was frightened, but the prince told her that he was a friend. The two talked and laughed. Each day the prince visited Rapunzel. Very soon they had fallen in love.
Wait, is that Minnie Mouse Rapunzel?
That's Minnie Mouse Rapunzel. One day they heard a voice below. "Rapunzel, Rapunzel, let down your hair." It was the witch. "She must not find you here," Rapunzel cried. But there was no place for the prince to hide. Rapunzel had no choice. She had to let the witch into the tower. When the old woman saw the prince, she flew into a rage. "You'll not visit my Rapunzel again," she shrieked. She grabbed some scissors and cut off Rapunzel's braid. "Now go," she shouted at the prince. With a mighty shove, she pushed him out the window. "No, please," cried Rapunzel as the prince fell. She ran to the window and leaned out so far that she tumbled out of the tower. Luckily, Rapunzel and the prince landed in the bushes. They hopped onto the prince's horse and rode off quickly. The prince took Rapunzel to see her long-lost parents. Her mother and father were overjoyed. They had missed their daughter terribly all these years. Not long after that, Rapunzel and the prince were married. There was great happiness throughout the land. Rapunzel planted a beautiful garden near the castle where she grew lots of delicious lettuce, for which she had been named. The witch lived out her life locked up in the tower. Rapunzel and her prince lived happily ever after. The end. Did you like that story? Tell me all about it.